Hello class, in this video I'll be doing example 5 from section 15.4, and it states evaluate the definite integral. And before we start, I would like to say that this function f of x is continuous on the interval -1 to 0, and I've sketched its function on the right. And with that said, we can go ahead and apply the fundamental theorem of calculus to evaluate the definite integral. And to do that, we're going to have to use u substitution. So I'm going to let u equal 5y squared minus 8. So u is equal to 5y squared minus 8. Which means the derivative of u with respect to y is 10y. And after rearranging some factors, it follows that 1/10 du is equal to y times dy. And now I'm going to take care of the limits of integration, because currently these limits of integration are values of y, and I would like to write them in values of u. So notice that u is equal to 5y squared minus 8, so I'm going to evaluate that function for -1 and 0. So starting with 0, that'll be -8. And if we evaluate 5y squared minus 8 for -1, that will be -3. So if we rewrite this definite integral in terms of u, this will be 1/10, and the limits will change, and the top will be -8, and the bottom will be -3. u squared du. The antiderivative of u squared is u cubed divided by 3. So we're going to use this function and evaluate at -3 and at -8. So I'll label that capital F of u. So capital F of -8, that is equal to -8 cubed divided by 30, which is equal to -512 divided by 30. Capital F of -1, sorry, not -1, but -3 is -3 cubed divided by 30, which is -27/30. Capital F of -8 minus capital F of -3 is -512 divided by 300 minus a -27/30. And that is equal to -485 divided by 30. So the value of the given definite integral is equal to -485 divided by 30, which happens to reduce to -97/6. So what does -97/6 mean? What does that value represent? So earlier I mentioned that I sketched f of x, and we noticed it was continuous between -1 and 0, and I highlighted the area between -1 and 0, and I highlighted that in red. So notice that the area is located below the x-axis, and your answer was negative. The area of the shaded region is negative 97/6.